Yo, what's going on here? A party? Hanging out? Oh, you already played twice. How about you? You played? Yeah? Oh. So now it's just relaxing. That's what's up. Just got done playing ball. Gotta get a drink real quick with the B-ball homies. Let's go. Oh, you just got off work? You just got off work, right? Yeah. All right. We just got off the work too. We got work on the basketball court. Oh, look at that. You subscriber, bro. That's how we do it. Rhea, get off the floor. That's dirty. What's wrong with you?
Okay, sit like this.
Now you gotta sanitize your hands.
Down.
What's up, Riley? You wanna be on YouTube? YouTube. You wanna be on YouTube? Dang, this light is bright.
Too bright.
Rhea's BFF is leaving. See you on FaceTime, huh, girl? FaceTime in the next 2 minutes. All right, guys. Later. All right, our friend 2003 Accord. Just the one that did the starter on. Ran into a problem with the aftermarket Denso starter. But anyway, after putting the starter in, it finally worked. But the car has a bunch of oil leaks in the typical areas. Valve cover, VTC screen, and VTC oil control solenoid, which is here on the side. So that's what we'll be working on right now. And while we're in there, might as well adjust valve clearances. Okay, valve cover is out. This is the problem area of the leak. So I'm gonna go to do the valve cover gasket and the tube O-rings. Just wanted to get the valve cover off, but what I like to do before anything else is wipe down where the valve cover gasket mates onto on top of the head, the mating surface. Clean that off good, make sure the Honda Bond, silicone, where the 4 areas that they go on come off. Of course, we have to cool down the valve, so I'm gonna put a fan on this thing. So actually, the one thing we need to check out, since this valve cover probably has never come off like ever. See, the spark plug tube O-rings are already leaking, so let's see if we could even get the valve cover gasket off. Sometimes that's a pain in its own self. Oh, no, I take that back. Maybe the valve cover gasket has been removed at least once, because otherwise it wouldn't be coming off like this, but it's definitely leaking. All right, valve cover gasket is out. Just gotta pop out these spark plug tube O-rings. Here's the parts. Spark plug tube O-rings, VTC actuator, or VTC screen, VTC oil control solenoid. It also is leaking. It just sucks that all it is 2 10mm bolts, but in order to get to that, you gotta take off the drive belt, serpentine belt, the power steering, and the pulley. But other than that, pretty simple. But there's gonna be a lot of cleanup here. There's all kinds of oil going down this timing chain cover. So to remove these, I used to take a screwdriver and kind of wedge in between and pop it off. That's one way to do it, but I like using my green weeper tool that I call it. Just can't find it right now. Jeez. Oh, shoot, there it is. Tripping. So, just like coming up here, get in there, and just pry. And just pry. Oh, shoot. Put my tripod over here. Easy that was, easy peasy. Dang, these things are hard. Wipe this up good. Wipey, wipey, wipey. Wipey, wipey, wipe, 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 wipe. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Good to go. So just like you guys saw in the Element video of my nephew's car, I use it's my 32 millimeter socket. You kind of push it. You could kind of push it in. It's pretty much almost there, and you could finish it off, giving it a few love taps with the hammer, like so. All right, you get the idea. Make sure it's pretty even all around, and that's all there is to it. So I accidentally discovered something. If you take socket, flip it around where it's smooth right here, not the open end, put it in, you could actually just use your weight with an extension and it goes right on like butter. Taught you something today, didn't I? All right, while I'm waiting for this to cool down to do the valve adjustment, might as well go upstairs and have some dinner. Haven't even been inside the house yet. What can I say? I'm a workaholic. Alrighty, just had to change real quick. So it looks like we got some pizza from Pizza Hut and some beef steak. Y'all don't know what this is. It's pretty good. Filipinos know what this is. Some marinated beef with onions. Alright, got the toaster oven ready. Warm up some pizza. So let me show you how it's done. Get some rice, a little bit more rice. I don't eat that much rice. Trying to cut back, you know what I mean? Since I'm lazy to get utensils, I just use the same. They call this a sandok. Anyway, it's what you use to get the rice from the rice cooker. Yep. Oh man, gotta get the juices, the sauce, the little sabaw, if you will. Sabaw means like sauce. Yep, good to go. Put this in the microwave and we good. Taste test. Oh man, it's the bomb. Taste the lemon juices. It's on point. Alright, this thing's been cooling for a good hour now. Decided to do the valve adjustment first. This is the valve lash clearance right there. Intake is 0.23 millimeters plus or minus 0.02. Exhaust is 0.30 millimeters plus or minus 0.02. And you always want to adjust your valves when the engine's cold, under 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm just gonna find my feeler gauge. I had it earlier. I don't know where, or used it before. I'm gonna have to dig through this. All right, found it. So 0.23, 0.229, round up 0.23 and 0.305. So normally I would do it from the bottom. Sometimes I'm able to cheat. Too lazy to take out the spark plug, so hopefully this might be good enough to rotate the motor to top dead and start on number 1 cylinder. Ooh, she has some cam wear. This is what happens when you run the car low on oil. But I see this happen a lot. I actually have a friend who has, I want to say 300 something thousand miles, and theirs is a lot more worn than this, but it's still going. Thing got 12 lives. So we're now at top dead center. It's when this arrow is pointing up right here on the VTC actuator, and those 2 lines on the exhaust and intake gear are lined up. And then normally you would see a mark down there, but since she has all these oil leaks on the cord, it's hard to see. It's hard to see anyway because of the camera angle. So I'm probably gonna have to parts clean that so I could have a reference mark. So we're on top dead center now, number 1 cylinder. Number 1 cylinder is always closest to the crankshaft pulley, usually. So checking play, so there's some play. All right, so we're good. I'm gonna start adjusting the valves. I'll show you how to do it on 1, and then the rest you apply to the others. And the firing order on this is 1, 3, 4, 2. Of course, I got my valve adjuster tool. You really don't need one of these. You can use a 10 millimeter socket or a flathead screwdriver. but this makes it a lot easier. First, we'll check the intake, which calls for 0.23 millimeters, a little bit on the looser end, so we could adjust this. Remember, looser is always better than tighter, but too loose, you'll get a lot of noise. So see how I'm pulling this? There's no there's no drag. That needs to be adjusted a little bit tighter. This one's a little bit better, but still not enough drag. See the exhaust? Exhaust seems to be perfect, but well, one of them. See how there's drag? See how there's drag when I'm pulling it? That's what you want. Slight drag, not heavy drag. So if you're struggling to pull it out, this is actually perfect right here. So exhaust valve will be left alone. Intake valve will be adjusted. All right, getting ready to make adjustment, but this is a first. I've never seen it where you loosen the exhaust, or you loosen the lock nut, but you still can't free the screw. So I think at one point this car might have been neglected with the oil changes. So there's some gunk between the head components. All right, I'm trying to get some drag. See how the gauge is stuck? So you don't want that. You want where you could have some drag, but not too much. So yeah, you just gotta adjust the screw accordingly. In this case, I tightened a tad. All right. If you look, I could move my feeler gauge side to side and it's not falling out or anything like that. So if I pull it, you see how my feeler gauge kind of skips? There's a skip little, that's the drag you want. Slight drag. And then just like that with everything else. So now I'll do this one. See how I could easily move my gauge back and forth? It's like no drag at all. So we're gonna adjust that. So you just gotta play with it. So if it's too tight, of course, righty tighty, lefty loosey. This one I can't really push my gauge in, so I'm gonna loosen it slightly and tighten the lock nut. There we go. What we want. Perfect. So since this is a 4-cylinder, aka 4-banger, the engine fires every quarter turn of the cam gear. So since we're on number 1 right now, and this arrow goes 90 degrees, which is a quarter of a circle, that's gonna be number 3 cylinder. Then number 4 when you rotate, quarter turn. Then number 2. So 1, 3, 4, 2. So I'll at least show you next cylinder, which would be number 3. You rotate. So the arrow is pointing to the right, and that mark that was lined up with this cam gear is now going to be on top. About right there. And then the other mark, which is probably going to be hard to see, is now down here. So that's how you know you're on number 3 cylinder, which is right here. So on these K series, the cam lobes are kind of facing each other when they're on that cylinder. I mean, not directly, but you get what I'm saying. So same thing with number 3. I'm gonna check the clearance and see what's up, and then adjust accordingly. So number 3, all valves are loose. No drag on the feeler gauges. So I'm gonna tighten them up to spec, where we get drag on our feeler gauge, slight drag. So I already adjusted this one. See how you kind of see what my feeler gauge does? Sorry, bad angle, but get up in there. Saw that? And you could hear it too. So this one's not adjusted yet, and this has too much play, or not enough drag in it. So clearance is too loose. Okay, see how it moves freely? It's supposed to be like, kind of like that. So now that the valve adjustment's done, we could actually go ahead and put on the valve cover gasket, or excuse me, the valve cover with a brand new valve cover gasket and spark plug tube O-rings. But you know what? I might do the VTC filter screen first. Here's the VTC screen filter / gasket, and the VTC oil control solenoid, which is right there. It's only held on by a 10mm bolt, but it's kind of tricky to get to because you really don't have that much room. It's not too bad, but not too good either. Believe it or not, there's the new part, nicely drenched in oil in the Ziploc bag. I don't know why they do this, but they do. There's a little sucker right there, just chilling. Man, I just wish there was an easier way to get to that bottom 10mm bolt, but there isn't. The only way to do it is remove this and the tensioner. After all that removal, I finally have access to this thing. So all it is two 10mm head bolts, but to get to it, like I said, there's no way you can get to this bottom bolt. Now that the bolts are out, give it a little love pry. Ooh, that was easy. That was easy. There you go, make more mess. There it is. There's the screen, filter, whatever you want to call it. The gasket's pretty brittle. See how flat it is. And so anyway, that's another source of leak. Gotta fix. And finally got the old one out. That was a struggle. It was breaking into pieces. As you can see, a little bit more residual right there. So I'm gonna have to clean that off real quick. There we go. Good to go. Make sure you put it on the right way or else oil won't flow correctly. There is a way to put it on wrong, but don't do that. So I'll line up the holes and you're good. I hate when you try to tighten something and the ratchet's on the reverse. That's not cool. Don't do that. Good to go. Time to put everything back. Since I already have the power steering pump removed and the serpentine belt tensioner, this gives a lot of room for me to move this high pressure hose out the way. So remember, got to put Honda Bond here, here, and then in the corners, because those are prone to leak. That's how they do it out of the factory. Going back in. Let's go. Alright, car's all back together. Valve cover gasket replaced. While we're in there, went ahead and did a valve clearance adjustment. Placed that VTC screen filter, that VTC oil control solenoid. All three of those items are leaking and causing the intake manifold or the exhaust manifold to start smoking. You don't want that. Good to go. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.